All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Well, peace, blessings, salutations to the full elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. And may the blessed election be upon your houses. All right. The title and topic of this lesson is going to be, all right, the military draft. All right, military draft is coming. All right, because right now, right, we see all the tensions or that is increasing and all the wars and rumors of wars that's going on right now, especially everything that's going on with Iran. All right. And there is a lot of talk, all right, and discussion of, a draft becoming a possibility to happen, coming, in the near future. All right, because the White House, released and said, right, the White House spokesperson said, that the president is not taking any options off of the table. All right, but I wanna I wanna start with this real quick in Matthew the 24th chapter. All right, and the reason, Salaki, and bear with me, Baba Shah, Jake a little bit under the weather right now, but nevertheless, this is Matthew the 24th chapter, verse 6, and it reads. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right, and all these things is what we're seeing happening right now, man. Right, we're seeing, the wars. We're hearing of the rumors of wars. We've seen the pestilences, right? These earthquakes and quote unquote natural disasters happening, all throughout, the four corners of the world, right? The famines and so forth, man. Right, all of these things are signs to let us know, right, that we are close to the end. All right, we are close to the end in this place, man. We are closer to, our hell, right, coming to an end. Right, so when we see these things, we actually rejoice in the spirit, man, because these are all signs to let us know the end is near, right? Because we want this place to ultimately fall, man. We want Babylon to get destroyed. We want all hell to break loose in this place, man, because after that begins the kingdom, man. Right? After all that hell, after all that, chaos and destruction, man, is the kingdom, man. And that's what we are hastening, man. That's what we're looking forward to, man. All right. But I got this clip. It's a very short clip, a couple seconds. And it's a TikTok clip, and it basically, explains the draft process and everything. All right. Let me
A
play it.
U.S. draft could be considered by the White House, with officials announcing how this first draft in more than 50 years will work. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed during an interview with Fox News that the president is keeping all of his options open, including the possibility of a future military draft. As official reports from the Selective Service on how the modern-day draft process works detail that first, only men aged 18 to 25 are eligible for the draft, the order being 20-year-olds first, followed by 21 through 25, after that 19, and last is 18. But the actual selection process of who in each age group goes first is a random birthday lottery where 366 numbered ping pong balls are placed in one bowl and 366 birthday combinations are placed in another. A ball is drawn from each and matched up, thereby giving every birthday in the year a randomly assigned number. And finally, when the military needs men, these numbers will be called up sequentially in batches from the current age group. A U.S. draft could be considered by the White House, with officials announcing how this first draft in more than 50 years will work. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed during an...
All right, so as we seen, in this clip, all right, it says here the draft ages is from 18 to 25. Okay, they're gonna start at the ages of 20 to 25. After that, it's gonna be the age of 19 and then the age 18. Right now, the Babylonian military is a laughing stock to these other nations, man. Right, and a few years ago, right, maybe about a year or two ago, maybe even 3 years ago, right, the military was complaining about a lack of enlistment, right, because they were saying not enough people were enlisting into the military, right. majority of men in Babylon are effeminate, man. We live in a day and age in Babylon where all these men are not truly men. All right, they effeminate, right? They out here painting their nails, putting on extensions, wigs, acting real effeminate out here, man. All right. So these are the type of individual they're trying to put into the military, man. Right? You know, I remember a while back I saw a military ad, right? Because when you look at these military promo, right, it's all propaganda at the end of the day. But when you look at the Babylonian military ads, right, it looks like a laughing stock compared to a military ad for, the Russian army or, one of the other nations' armies, man. All right. They be looking real austere in their promotional military advertisements, man. But when you look at Babylon, it's a laughing stock, man. Right? Their soldiers look effeminate. All right, they all laughing and giggling and running around with limp wrist. you know. But these nations look at Babylon military, their soldiers as a joke, man. And here it is, they're talking about, draft, a lot more, conversations of a draft is coming up. And who are they gonna draft? These effeminate men to go to war, man. All right. All right. Let me get this real quick, man, because once this draft does happen, man, hey, it's going to be all hell break loose in this place. This is Second Esdras, Second Esdras, the 16th chapter, verse 33, and it reads, "The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegroom. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers." Right? And when all these men, get drafted to the military, right? It's going to be all these women left behind. And best believe a lot of those men, all right, if not all of them, that get drafted, that go out, to that war, not going to be coming back home. Right? You've seen that, before in the last draft they had, right? For last World War they had, when they had the draft. All right, all these young men, right? Pretty much in primal age, was getting sent out to war, and a lot of them was not coming back, right? Leaving wives without husbands, all right, and children without fathers, you know. And what did that cause? That also led to, a lot of women having to take, male roles, having to go to work now or having to do this now, right? This is about to all happen again here in Babylon, America, right? This is about to be, the reality in this place, man. And they try to say, these media outlets and news outlets and so forth try to say that, the likelihood of a draft happening is not very likely. That's that, try to keep the masses pacified, try to keep the masses calm. Yeah, it's a conversation, but it's probably not gonna happen. But when you look at the numbers, right, of how many people are currently listening to the military, and you look at, the numbers of these other military, these other nations, man, all right, it's inevitable to show you the route that Babylon is going to go towards, for when it comes down to this draft, man. All your Pookies and Ray Rays that like to tote Glocks and Dracos, right? They ass about to get drafted, man. Right? All your quote unquote, mighty men, right? They gonna be going through it, man. All right, because they'll be put on a pedestal in this place as, a mighty man or so forth. But in reality, once they get put on that battlefield, they're gonna turn into women, crying and wailing, and so forth, man. And let me get this too. Let me get this too, so like you. This is Wisdom of Solomon 6:6. It says, "For mercy will soon pardon the meanest, but mighty men shall be mightily tormented," man. So all your mighty men are gonna be going through it, in these final days, man. Whether it's, getting drafted over there, and having to go to war in that third world war, or whether it's in Babylon, right? When shit hits the fan in this place and all hell breaks loose, man, total anarchy, man. Right? The times that we are genuinely and truly entering into, man, shit, the times that we are in right now is about to be a time that has never ever before been seen on the planet Earth. The human mind is not even prepared to be able to comprehend what's about to go down, man. The Lord is really getting ready to unleash judgment upon this place, man. This is why it's very crucial and important to make sure that you have that hedge of protection over you, to make sure that you are, found, pleasing in the sight of Yahweh Shem Shai. Because without the Lord's hedge of protection over you in these final days, all right, you're cooked, man. You're baked chicken out here, man. All right, it's very important, man. That's why we're doing what's required of us now to be found pleasing in the sight of Shem Shai. Praying that the Lord has mercy on us, in these final days, and that we are ultimately a part of that number to be, saved out of this place, man. Because terrible times is coming, right? They have a saying. They say, it says, good times, and I may butcher this, but shortly paraphrase, like good times create a weak men, all right, and weak men create hard times, and I believe it continues on. Hard times create good men or weak men, right? Nevertheless, it's something to that extent, right? But right now, we're in that point where right now where weak men are, right? Weak men are created in this time right here. So right now we live in a place where there's nothing but weak men right now, man. Weak, effeminate men. All right. That is what's mainly promoted and pushed and is had in Babylon, man. All right. Hyper estrogen having men in this place, man. And it's about to get really bad out here. That's why, hey, people are going to be flocking to the men of the Lord, man. Women are going to be flocking to the men of the Lord, man. All right, because those are the only true men that are out here, man. All right, you are not a true man. All right, like the beloved brother Gabar says, you're not a true man if you're not serving Yahweh Shem Shai. Once you serving the Lord, that's what makes you truly a man. All right, let me get this. It's Revelation 9:12. It reads, one woe is past, and behold, there come two more woes afterward, hereafter. Right. So, all right, we experienced, the World War I. All right, we experienced, the World War II. Right. And now all that's left is that World War III, which we are truly on the precipice of right now. All right. Because I believe it was what was his name, Albert Einstein. He said, if a war is fought with nuclear missiles, then the next war will be fought with sticks and stones, going to show you that there's going to be nothing left, man. And Babylon's about to look like a scab on the planet Earth, man. Right? A memorial from generation to generation, man. This is the reality of what's about to come and what's about to be in Babylon, America, man. A draft is coming. War is coming. World War III is coming. Terrible times is coming. It's inevitable. Your average individual in Babylon is speaking about this, man. Right? On your daily walk, you're hearing, people just talking about World War III, a draft. What's going on right now, man. It's undeniable the times that we are in. So it would behoove you to turn back and serve Yahweh Shem Shai and get right with the Lord before it's too late. All right. But hey, I'm going to close it out with that. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect of Israel. With that being said, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone Well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to those for elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. Until next time, shalom. In the ball, Kwam Yasharallah, shalom.